Jack and Lena.
Not ready for the day either, but yet here we are. So we start the day together. Hopefully this is your Friday and you're looking forward to a weekend. I'm Lena DeFlorius.
And I'm Rashi Vatz, in for Sally McDonald. Let's get you caught up with the headlines that we're following for you.
And in the news today, listen to this one and look at these pictures. A family of 4 burned after someone shot into their car, setting off the fireworks that they had inside. At least 2 people airlifted, and the shooter still on the run this morning.
Plus, happening today, several key Democratic presidential candidates will be in Houston later on talking to teachers about education, where you can catch the big forum.
And then fans of the show Stranger Things, oh, my fellow 80s nerds, why don't you get excited with me? Season 3 is now streaming on Netflix, and we're going to catch you up with the cast to talk about it. But I can tell you, fear not, no spoilers here. Maybe you're awake not because it's early, but because you're streaming all night long and you just finished up the series.
I got to tell you that I went through Netflix, which I never usually do, but I had some time, and I saw the Stranger Things, and I'm like, what is this?
What?
I know.
I feel attacked right now. I feel like personally
and
attacked.
then I just went right by it.
Well, you know what, and I think I'm the only one in the room who remembers the 80s, but why don't we get you over to Stephen? Maybe he's going to talk about the 80s and the temps, make me feel a little better about myself.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Here's the thing, I did see season 1 and 2 of Stranger Things, so I'm looking forward to watching season 3. I'm a big Stranger Things fan. But yeah, if we're going to talk 80s, we can look at the temperature board this morning because we do have a few locations in the 80s. It's 80 degrees officially outside of Hobby, 84 down in Galveston, dealing with the south breeze there early this morning. Elsewhere, it's relatively calm, and I think that that's what we will be seeing. We have high pressure that's positioned in the Gulf of Mexico that's going to be moving a little closer to us today, meaning our rain chances are slim. 24 hours ago, we were tracking some showers and some storms moving through Harris and Montgomery County this time yesterday, but of course this morning we are just dealing with a couple of clouds, nothing to really deal with across the entire state of Texas. A weak area of high pressure will be building as we go throughout the day in the Gulf. So here are those headlines. Several hot days ahead. We will be dealing with those heat indices, those feels like temperatures over 100, a little closer to 105 to even upwards of 107, 108 in the afternoon. Very limited rain chances for the next several days, but we could be tracking some tropical moisture that arrives mid next week, sometime Thursday or Friday. Of course, still several days out, but we are waiting. By that time, I think we could use some relief. So high pressure in the Gulf of Mexico, that's going to be a contributing factor of our weather today. As far as our afternoon's concerned, mostly sunny, mid-90s for those afternoon highs. Then as we head into the evening, a quiet evening, we will be dealing with a light south breeze. Here's that quick cast for you. Temperatures warming through the 70s into the 90s today, and 93 by 1 p.m.
Time now is 4:03, and we start with developing news out of North Houston. We know that 4 people were badly burned, including 2 children, after a road rage shooting led to their vehicle catching on fire. It happened near Veterans Memorial in West Mount Houston around 9 o'clock last night. Deputies say one person fired shots into a family's vehicle that was full of fireworks. No one was shot, but the gunfire ignited those fireworks and caused the truck to catch on fire. At least 2 were life-flighted to the hospital. We're still working to find out their conditions, but right now the gunman still on the run. Several key Democratic presidential candidates will be in town later today. They're taking part in the National Education Association's Strong Public Schools Presidential Forum.
And this is happening at the George R. Brown Convention Center, where candidates are going to be answering questions from educators right here in Texas.
We are watching. We are very excited to know that there are so many people that want to make education, public schools a priority, and we're going to be listening to their ideas and their plans and to make sure that they are also listening to us, the experts, so that they know what it is that our students and our schools truly need.
Now, some of the candidates expected are names you know: former Vice President Joe Biden, Senator Bernie Sanders, and Senator Elizabeth Warren. That forum starts at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Well, it rained cats and dogs in D.C., but President Trump held his Salute to America celebration at the nation's capital on Thursday.
And it included military flyovers, a procession of tanks, drill teams, and other armored vehicles. The president paid tribute to the military and emphasized America's exceptionalism.
America's fearless resolve has inspired heroes who defined our national character. It has willed our warriors up mountains and across minefields. It has liberated continents, split the atom, and brought tyrants and empires to their knees.
President Trump also mentioning the moon landing as one of America's great accomplishments while promising to plant the American flag on Mars. Some critics are concerned it was the president saluting himself and appearing to politicize the military.
Now, there were protests outside of that celebration there. A member of the Revolutionary Communist Party set fire to an American flag. That's what you're looking at here. The burning triggered a fight, but it's not illegal to burn the U.S. flag. Did you know? But according to the Secret Service, though, it happened beyond the limits of the permit that had been issued by the National Park Service. 2 people were arrested. 2 Secret Service officers were injured, although they say just minor injuries, and they're expected to fully recover. But here in Houston, a lot of people, dozens, spent their 4th of July protesting, saying that President Trump is not upholding the country's promise of liberty and justice for all.
They gathered outside the Southwest Key facility near downtown. It opened earlier this year to shelter unaccompanied teenagers. The protesters were upset with how migrants arriving into the U.S. are being treated.
Continuing to celebrate the 4th of July while ignoring people are denied their freedom that is guaranteed to them under asylum laws, whether they're United States immigration laws or international laws, is another atrocity that we should not be celebrating.
And we also know that this was a actual response from the protests. Southwest Key sent a statement that reads in part, "We are not a detention facility. We are a licensed child care center. We offer education, recreation, and access to pro bono legal counsel. Many of these young have already endured significant trauma in their home countries or on their dangerous journeys to the U.S." The 4th of July celebration in Kemah Thursday celebrated the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing.
And Fox 26 photojournalist Darlene Janik Fairs was there just in case you were celebrating someplace else.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
A lot of pride around here. 50 years is big.
As you know, we're so close to NASA, and the whole Bay Area really rallies around the theme of the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. You know, for some of us, we remember it. For others, we just know of it. But it's an important event in our history that we all want to help celebrate and just honor with our parade today. A great part of the economy is tied to the Space Center, both from the tourism standpoint as well as, it employs a lot of people in our area in Kemah and the neighboring cities.
It's Neil. It's Neil. We're the only ones that came out here with a homemade rocket. You see the excitement of all the people around here and everything. It's just great. And us being right next to NASA like we are, I mean, it couldn't be better. I went to high school with a bunch of students whose parents were astronauts and stuff. Some of them lost their lives doing it. So it means a lot to the community.
It's one small step for man.
It's just something that was such a powerful moment for someone to step down onto the moon. It was hard to believe. It was just very powerful.
It's so historic. I mean, the fact that we actually made those leaps to that area and that moment in time so far long ago, it's crazy of how much further we can go. Where will we be 50 years from now?
Well, I don't know about 50 years, but I can tell you about this weekend what's going on. Women's World Cup. Now in France, Team USA is gearing up for Sunday's match. This is the finals against the Netherlands for the title. So Team USA is the overwhelming favorite to win again. The U.S. women have not lost a World Cup match since 2011. Did you know? Now, championship against Japan, still, the players are not ready to lose their focus.
This was the goal from the beginning. We wanted to be going into this game. We wanted to be competing for a gold medal. And to have the opportunity to step on the field on Sunday to do that is everyone's excited, everyone's ready.
You know, everybody knows that we want to win, and ultimately we've got to come together, we've got to be united, and I think that's what makes this group really special is that, you know, no matter who's out on the pitch, everybody kind of has each other's back, and it doesn't matter how we get the job done, we find a way.
And just a reminder, Fox is your home for the Women's World Cup final. You can watch the title game between Team USA and the Netherlands right here on Fox 26 this Sunday. Coverage begins at 9 a.m. The match follows at 10.
Hey, come check this out. We've got more of this piece of tape for you. A man punched in the face as he's leaving an Indiana courtroom. Gonna show you more of that must-see video and why that happened in the moments before.
And we are giving you a look at our Houston TransStar cameras, 610 East Loop, northbound direction at the Ship Channel Bridge. We still have the on-ramp in the far right lane blocked. Just wanted to give you that update. Stay with us. We've got more Wake Up with Sally Mack and Lena with Rashi here coming your way right after the break.
Thursday's earthquake in Southern California was the strongest to hit that area in more than 20 years.
Oh my gosh, I know you've seen some of the videos. Well, we can tell you nobody hurt, no major damage. Even though you take a look at these pictures, you can't believe that. Well, we can tell you that they've already had several aftershocks. They're expecting more aftershocks. They say up to 2 weeks from yesterday. Now, this was a 6.4 magnitude quake, hit about 150 miles northeast of Los Angeles, but people said they felt it in Phoenix. They felt it in Vegas. Now, seismologists say that there is an 80% chance that one of these aftershocks is going to be a 5.0 or greater.
It's certain that this area is going to be shaken a lot today, and some of those aftershocks will probably exceed magnitude 5, which means they will become damaging.
Okay, now it has been the largest quake in that area since 1994. Oh, it is Northridge. Yeah, since the Northridge earthquake in 1994. Dozens of people died in that earthquake. Billions of dollars of damages. In fact, one of the busiest freeways there in Los Angeles totally collapsed in that earthquake.
Smoke continuing to rise from this volcano that you're looking at. Thursday after it erupted in Italy. Thousands had to run from the explosion as hot magma flowed through the hills of the mountain. One person was killed, but no other injuries have been reported. This is one of 3 active volcanoes in Italy right now. Time now is 4:15. Caught on camera, a father convicted of killing his 3-month-old son met instant payback at the hands of the boy's uncle.
Come take a look at this piece of tape here and you're going to see what we're talking about. This man had just been sentenced to 19 years in prison for killing his little boy. The man punching him there was the little boy's uncle. Well, deputies rushed in. Obviously, you see that they're pulling the 2 men apart. The man had faced the same judge that sentenced the man he punched there. Well, he was given 179 days in jail for that attack. A lot of people would understand that, though.
Yeah, well, we started off warmer yesterday, or I should say we ended the day warmer yesterday. Temperatures in the 90s, 89 down in Angleton, 93 Conroe, 92 Houston. So still a degree below where we should be this time of year, but that's going to be changing, I certainly think, today. Checking in on those temperatures across the state of Texas this morning, 75 degrees up in Amarillo, 79 over in Dallas, as well as Austin, San Antonio checking in at the same temperature, as is Houston. We are dry in the Lone Star State. We have to go pretty far north to see any sort of activity, and they're dealing with some strong thunderstorms early this morning up near Omaha, Nebraska, and then a complex of storms moving through southwestern Missouri. These are called ridge runners. Essentially, we have high pressure in place, and this is just running along that ridge. And also, we are checking in on Hurricane Barbara. We talked about it yesterday. Officially, it has continued to weaken and now is just a Category 1 storm with sustained winds at about 80 miles per hour. Continuing to move to the northwest at about 12 miles per hour, but that pressure keeps increasing, meaning this storm is weakening, and the official forecast track has it becoming a tropical depression just before it impacts the islands of Hawaii. So we'll continue to watch that. Nothing like that in the Gulf of Mexico. Highs today warm and muggy as we go throughout the afternoon. Plenty of sun, feels like 103 to 106, so it's going to be a hot day once again today. Humid overnight, and then as we head into the day on Saturday, a sunny afternoon, mid to upper 90s. And here's that 7-day forecast. More of the same. So I added in big font, warm and muggy, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I really think we could extend that into Tuesday. Rain chances increase Wednesday, Thursday. We'll be watching that, maybe some tropical moisture building into southeast Texas. By that time, it'll be a relief, though.
So funny, because you're saying you think extending through Tuesday. I would say extending through October.
Yeah, because welcome to summer.
Because Houston, yes.
Well, here's a story that's been trending all week while investigators are zeroing in on the woman seen licking Bluebell ice cream and then putting it back. One Texas Walmart is trying to stay one step ahead.
Yeah, have you seen this picture here? It was kind of making the rounds on your social media pages yesterday. So this is a Walmart in Corpus Christi where they said, "Fear not, we have an armed guard watching the Bluebell ice cream for you." And he had like a little toy plastic water gun there, you see. But they're like, so it's okay. You don't have to worry about someone licking your ice cream like this woman there. I feel so attacked by this woman. I think a lot divides us. this unites us all, and that we all think, you're disgusting, lady.
Yeah, you are very disgusting.
Whoever she is. But they say they're zeroing in on whoever she is. But if you were her, how stressed would you be right now?
Yeah.
Every time you go to work, people would be like, you know, you look just like
I just wouldn't even go to work. And then
Yeah.
what about the person who was taking that video?
Yeah, right?
Also to blame.
But I'm also worried that she licked other ones that are not in that video.
And from what I've heard, that penalty is pretty hefty too.
Yeah.
You know, if charges are completely filed.
Yeah.
So.
It's tampering
Don't
with
go
a
licking on
consumer
I
product,
don't
I
just,
think.
If you're not going to buy it,
don't do that.
Don't do that.
Why are we like this? It's 20 minutes after the hour. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to think that one over. Why are we like this? And we'll meet you right back here. "23 minutes after the hour. Please, someone tell me you remember the 80s." Crickets in here. Thanks a lot. Okay, well, maybe you're one of them too, and you can join me, and you're one of my fellow geeks who is geeking out over Stranger Things now that season 3 started streaming yesterday on Netflix.
Fox Entertainment All-Star Kevin McCarthy caught up with the cast in a spoiler-free discussion about the hit Netflix show. Check it out.
Hey everybody, it's Kevin McCarthy here for the Fox Entertainment All-Stars, and I have seen Stranger Things Season 3, and I also caught up with the entire cast, including Finn Wolfhard, Millie Bobby Brown, and so many more. Check out the interview here. Watch this. I'm a huge fan of the Duffer Brothers. I love the combination of practical and CGI.
Yeah.
How does the nose blood work? And is it always is it CG? Is it real? Because I always wonder how it works in the sequences.
That's a good question. What did you?
I genuinely think it's a good question. 'Cause
Yeah?
No one's asked about it.
No, nobody ever asks about it.
Are you serious?
No, not
I want to
many
know
people.
how it's done.
Yeah, no. One
Oh
person
yeah, me
asked
too.
about
I
it.
do want to know. Well, there was
You
a
guys
few.
were there.
Well, there was a few. In season 1, I remember they would inject a little blood up the nose, and they would wait for it to trickle down.
Yeah.
But then it was too slow. or
Yeah,
how
it
did
was
they
that.
do
So
it
then we
now?
made a different formula where it would go a little bit faster, and then that formula was too liquidy. So then we actually got the perfect formula in order to put it up my nose, wait
And
till it
then
dripped.
let it
And
fall.
so, yeah, and so then by the end of it, I kind of got the hang of just putting it up my nose, holding it up there, saying
And then-
action,
and then just coming down.
and then
Yeah.
going, all right, everybody ready, and then
I don't think there's any CG.
there has been a couple times,
If
but,
it's like a yeah,
but
wait,
that's
really?
sometimes because we are just like
So cool.
in a rush, or
Yeah. I
but
didn't
not,
know this.
not very many other times, yeah.
How many children are you friends with?
One thing I noticed in this particular season is you're generally in the same clothes the entire season.
The hardest part was like making sure that all my props were in line because like I have
Oh,
a
they
ve-
didn't-
I have
the
a
wires,
vest, I have
the
I have
batteries,
vest, the wires, the
he's got
batteries,
all these
screwdrivers,
little- the gum, the
yeah,
screw- yeah, he's
the
got
gum.
the
I
gum.
tried to chew a piece of that gum.
Right.
It was from 1985.
Wait, you actually put the older gum in your mouth and
Heck
tried
yeah,
it? That's
I did.
insane. Wait, they
Of course
actually
I
brought the
did.
gum from the 80s?
It tasted like it.
They traveled back in time to the 80s.
I mean,
It
there's
was
a lot of the props they actually like find on eBay, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of these bags of chips they'll like source and buy.
Do the walkie-talkies actually work?
It's usually not the other actors. It's usually someone in the crew or Matt and Ross reading off camera, reading the dialogue. Because a lot of times when, especially with the whole, with the whole child labor laws thing, like a lot of people sometimes you can't.
That old thing.
That old thing. Who needs that? But so a lot of times like the kids need to be in school when they're not on camera.
They worked, but we couldn't hear anyone on there. But
Oh.
yeah, the frequency you heard, all the sounds and stuff, but it didn't work.
Filmmaking.
Someone would just do the lines behind the camera, and I'd be like,
Yeah, usually,
Mike,
like,
over, yeah.
Sean is,
or
like,
Miss-
screaming the
at you.
lines, yeah.
Season 3 of Stranger Things premieres on Netflix on July 4th. For my full interviews, you can go to youtube.com/Fox5DC. I'm Kevin McCarthy here in LA for the Fox Entertainment All-Stars.
You're watching Wake Up with Sally Mack and Lena.
Oh, Friday, there you are. We've been waiting on you, and we've been waiting on you as well. Thanks so much for having us in your home. I'm Lena DeFlorius.
And I'm Rashi Batts, not with her, but in for her.
It's
yes,
early.
In for her, yes. All right, let's get you caught up on those headlines we're following. 2 children and 2 adults burned when the fireworks inside their car were ignited after someone began shooting at them during a road rage incident. At least 2 were life-flighted to the hospital.
And we have some really big Democratic presidential candidates in Houston today. They're here for a forum this afternoon talking about education here in Texas.
And Joey Chestnut does it again. He won his 12th straight July 4th hot dog eating contest by downing 71 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
But why?
And he wasn't even happy about it because he was 4 short from his record or something.
74 was his record.
See, I mean, whatever.
I don't think I've eaten 74 hot dogs in my life. So, which I know you're like, oh, I was really wondering about that. All right, let's get you over there to Stephen Morgan, taking a look at the temperatures.
I've had 2 this past week, I will admit. I had one in 1 minute yesterday with Christiane. We were on a float. Remember Christiane? Yeah, at like 8:30, and then I had another one while I was on vacation, but that was insane. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that video, oddly enough. It's 84 degrees this morning down at Moody Gardens. I want to show you those boats. You see them out there in the distance. It's still dark, but I like seeing them just sort of floating there, hovering. As we go through the afternoon, it may be a good boat day because temperatures are going to be warming once again into the 90s. Now, the low 90s were the highs yesterday. I think today we're going to get into the mid, even upper 90s. 79 right now outside of Bush, Tomball 78, 76 up in Conroe, 76 this morning in Brenham. Good morning to you guys there. Checking in on that FoxRad radar, nothing to show, and I am happy about that, as yesterday we had a couple of storms, strong storms even, moving through Harris and Montgomery County. Those, of course, are long gone. What we have and what we will have later today is high pressure building in the Gulf of Mexico, so that will be influencing our weather for the next several days. Mostly sunny conditions today, mid-90s, some areas maybe even getting into the upper 90s. It'll be a little cooler along the coast, but I think plenty of sun to go around for everyone. That high pressure will continue to slide in our direction, and what high pressure means from an atmospheric standpoint is that that air is sinking, which means it has the counter effect to helping build showers, even storms. So when we have high pressure, that generally means fair weather. This evening going to be quite fair, actually quiet, a light south breeze, as well as high pressures spin clockwise in the northern hemisphere, so we're going to feel that south breeze. As far as that hour by hour is concerned, a quiet start, just muggy. I think we'll take it. Temperatures warming through the 70s into the 80s. A high today, Christiane, of 95 degrees.
Alrighty, not too bad. Thank you, Stephen. Let's take it on over to your Houston TransStar camera. 45, the North Freeway at Cypresswood. Both directions are quiet. No issues as you head out the door. But as we take a look at the rest of the city, everything is showing green, so no problems for you. 45, the Gulf Freeway looking great. The East Tex Freeway into downtown's quiet as well. Northbound 288, so no problems. Everything should be light today, but we'll continue to monitor your traffic, let you know how the conditions are looking. Rashi and Lena.
Time now is 4:33. Let's get to your top local stories. So we know that several key Democratic presidential candidates will be in town later today. They're taking part in the National Education Association's Strong Public Schools Presidential Forum. The event will take place at the George R. Brown Convention Center. It's giving the candidates the chance to answer educators' questions. Many of the candidates attending were in Iowa yesterday trying to win over voters. Texas teachers will be paying close attention to what they say about the education system. A few of the candidates attending include former Vice President Joe Biden, Senator Bernie Sanders, and Senator Elizabeth Warren. That forum begins at 2 p.m.
And we now know the names of the family deputies say were involved in a murder-suicide where a brother murdered his sister and then killed himself. The Fort Bend County Sheriff says that Juliana Wright Carr was moving into a rental home. Friends were helping her move at the time, and her brother was going to stay with her family for a while. Well, on Wednesday night, deputies say that John Wright shot his sister, killing her, wounding 3 of her friends, and then killed himself.
And news from overnight out of the Hobby Airport, where an HPD chopper had a hard landing. It happened around 8:30 yesterday evening. HPD says the pilot and flight training officer on board were able to get out and walk away from the aircraft without serious injury.
Your big story from overnight, we still don't know what started a road rage incident, but we do know that a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old were airlifted to the hospital with serious burns all over their bodies. Now, Harris County deputies say about 9 o'clock last night, a man driving with his wife and 2 children in that pickup truck got into some sort of dispute with another driver. Well, both of the men pulled into a gas station for that argument, with the man without the children pulled out a gun. The father, back in the truck with his family, started driving away, but the other man shot into the truck. Then the shots, the bullets, ignited the fireworks the family had just bought, burning that family of 4.
Some good Samaritans stopped, were able to pull the victims out of the vehicle and transport them to a nearby urgent care facility.
No description at last check this morning, but other reports of injuries from fireworks overnight include a man in Spring who had burns to his face and a girl in Beaumont who was badly injured when some sort of a firework device went off in her hand. It's 36 minutes after the hour. A Fox alert for you. Mazda recalling 25,000 3S's because the lug nuts that hold on the wheels may not be tight enough.
If the lug nuts are loose, there's a chance the wheels can fall off while you're driving. So far, no crashes have been reported, but Mazda will notify all affected owners and fix the problem free of charge. Lug nuts. All right, well, Las Vegas police confirming that an officer who froze during the mass shooting nearly 2 years ago has been fired.
Officer Cordell Hendricks admits that he was terrified with fear as the bullets came down into a crowd. This is at that country music festival in Vegas. A police body camera shows that Hendricks, in uniform on the left there, you've seen this before, was with a rookie officer and 3 hotel security guards waiting for minutes in a Mandalay Bay hallway. Now, this is as people were being massacred below by Stephen Paddock from the floor above. The police union says that they're fighting to get Hendricks reinstated. You'll remember that 59 people were killed and hundreds of others were injured in that mass shooting. Miami Dolphins defensive tackle Kendrick Norton lost his arm in a car crash on Thursday.
His agent confirms he suffered multiple injuries and his left arm had to be amputated. Investigators say Norton's vehicle crashed into a concrete barrier and overturned early yesterday morning near Miami. We're told the 22-year-old remains in critical condition. He is expected to survive.
Well, I hate to say it, but this is not the first time that we've seen something like this happen. This is a fire erupting at 2 fireworks stores in South Carolina, setting off tons of the fireworks inside. Now, some people said that they thought it was just an early show until they started seeing the fire. Well, firefighters say the fire started on Thursday morning in the storage containers between the fireworks house and the fireworks stores that were right next door. Gorgeous, but
there are several fire calls you can point to and say these are once in a lifetime, and this clearly is a once in a lifetime call. Well, the scale. Yeah, there's several Connex boxes, as you can see behind me, are fully involved with fireworks.
Well, firefighters say the explosives actually burned down a power line, and that left the business without power as well. But I can tell you, fortunately, it looks like no one was hurt. Well, some people who are visiting the Gulf Coast are being kept off of some of the beaches because of a big toxic algae bloom.
This as people celebrate the holiday weekend. Fox's Charles Watson has the story.
Summer beach plans are hitting a snag along the Gulf Coast this 4th of July holiday weekend. Mississippi is closing down more than a dozen beaches as a safety precaution as a toxic blue algae grows along miles of shoreline.
We've had to change everything to adjust to this fresh water and now the nearshore algae blooms.
Sonny Schindler,
Cat Island Chris, come on, man,
makes a living taking groups of people fishing in the Gulf on his charter boat. While he travels further south to unaffected areas, his customers have had concerns about the toxic algae affecting seafood.
We just try to explain to them that the areas that are affected are near the beaches, very close to land. The areas we fish, very far to the south,
Mississippi's Department of Marine Resources says the toxic algae bloom is the product of a large amount of fresh water being diverted from the Mississippi River into the Gulf after this spring's widespread flooding. The higher amount of fresh water lets harmful bacteria thrive, causing nausea and breathing issues. Beyond Mississippi, more than a dozen beaches in Louisiana and Texas have been placed under advisory. Toxic algae blooms have been spotted in the water along Florida's coastline. The noticeably murky water is keeping beachgoers away.
Certainly gave us pause when we were walking on the beach yesterday, and I wanted to go trot out in the water a little bit.
Does it concern you?
No.
Mississippi state officials say they're running tests. The algae has so far caused no serious health concerns to people or marine life, but
anytime that we find an issue to where we think that it might be a problem, we're going to go on the air of safety.
Mississippi's Department of Marine Resources says the seafood is safe to eat here on the Gulf Coast. However, people are being kept out of the water on some of the beaches until levels of that toxic algae bloom decrease. In St. St. Louis, Mississippi, Charles Watson, Fox News.
A big 4th of July for a few people become U.S. citizens on America's birthday. The sights and sounds from the ceremony in D.C. coming up. We are following breaking news in North Houston this morning where a 2-year-old girl was shot in the head.
Now, if this happened on Benmar Drive overnight, details are scarce this morning, but here's what we know. This started as some sort of an argument. One person started shooting, hitting that little girl who was sitting in the back seat of a car. Now, she was airlifted to Memorial Hermann Hospital. There's no update on her condition at last check, but we do have a Fox 26 crew en route to that area to get you the latest details. So as soon as she's able to confirm a couple of pieces of information, we'll get those updates to you here on air, but also online at fox26houston.com.
Congratulations, you are America's newest citizens.
It was a very special 4th of July for dozens of people who became American citizens yesterday morning in Washington, D.C. Vice President Mike Pence was on hand for a naturalization ceremony at the National Archives. 44 candidates representing 26 countries took their oath of allegiance.
You stepped forward. You followed the law. You went through the process to immigrate into this great nation. And as of today, the men and women gathered before me today who just raised their right hand have now joined the ranks of the freest and most prosperous nation in the history of the world.
The new American citizens are from countries as far as Afghanistan, Egypt, and South Korea. The White House has a big decision to make later today, whether to move past a Supreme Court ruling and add a citizenship question to next year's census.
So this is a big topic for the administration. Basically, the Justice Department has a deadline of today to tell the Census Bureau whether or not to add that question. So Doug Luzader is live in Washington this morning. Although at last check, I thought that they had already started to print some of these census forms. So where do we go from here? Is it too late to even make this change? Good morning.
Good morning. They have a deadline today to tell a federal judge what the plan is going to be, whether they plan to include this question in the census in some form. And if they do, that's going to open up the administration from a number of lawsuits, which will begin to move forward. So a federal judge just says, listen, we need to know whether you're going to include this or not. And that's the question the administration will have to answer today. They are coming up on something of a deadline, although we're not sure really how hard and fast that is. To begin printing these census forms. We've seen some mixed signals coming from the Department of Commerce, which oversees the census, as to whether this question will be included. The president really wants it in, though, and a number of lawyers were apparently meeting about this yesterday to try to figure out kind of what the new approach will be after they were more or less rebuffed by the Supreme Court last week on this issue.
So if the Supreme Court already ruled that it could be possibly added in the future, just not this go round, and the president is suggesting delaying the census, has that ever happened before, to delay a census?
Well, you know, what the court said was that the reasoning that the administration used was, in the minds of a majority of the Supreme Court justices, contrived. So it doesn't necessarily rule out some kind of future challenge on this, where the administration could come back with a different reason that would meet the court's requirements. Now, whether you'd be able to get that all done in time to still get the census process by 2020, we'll see. I mean, the census is a massive bureaucracy. It's an extraordinarily expensive process to go through this, and you've got to get the wheels in motion relatively soon to get this thing done in 2020.
All right, Doug Luzader, we'll check in with you a little bit later. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, let's look at today's almanac, because those averages, as I was talking about the last hit, are in the low 90s. We typically hit about 93 degrees this time of year. We start off around 75. Those records, 66, record low, sounds kind of nice. 102 does not sound so nice, but we will be getting above that average high for the next several days, I do believe. Sunrise at 6:26 this morning and sunset at 8:26. Right now, temperatures are in the 70s and a couple of 80s. We are having a bit of a lighter breeze this morning. A south breeze still is in control across the state of Texas. Those temperatures also in the 70s and the 80s, but we are quiet regarding activity, rainfall in the state. We have to look a little further to the north, where some storms are moving through portions of southwest Missouri into South Dakota, as well as Nebraska, actually dealing with some severe weather there. Highs yesterday across the country. Hot spots were out to the west. Phoenix hitting 107, El Paso 100. Miami quite hot as well. Jacksonville getting close to the century mark. But we go further to the north in Alaska, and I'll be talking more about this in the 5 o'clock hour. They reached an all-time record high in Anchorage, reaching 90 degrees. So very hot conditions up there. I'll explain that more, like I said, coming up. As far as our future cast is concerned here back at home, plenty of sun today. It's going to feel much warmer, anywhere between 103 to 106. And as you can see by Futurecast, we won't be seeing any rain, thanks in part to high pressure, which is parked off into the Gulf of Mexico. Then as we go into the overnight hours, it's going to be muggy once again. It's going to be quite warm. We'll have a bit of a south breeze, nothing that's, not tolerable by any means. But as we head into the day on Saturday, some of that heat may become a bit oppressive as we will be getting, I think, into the mid, even upper 90s, a sunny afternoon as well. Futurecast trying to fire a couple of showers in extreme eastern portions of the state and through southern portions of Louisiana, but I do think we will remain dry. Can't rule out a spot sprinkle, but those chances are so low. I'm not even giving a 10% chance for rain tomorrow, nor on Sunday. As you can see, as we start the day on Sunday, we'll have dry conditions. Taking a look at that 7-day forecast, here's the theme: warm and muggy for the next several days. 95 Friday, 95 Saturday, 96 on Sunday, and then on Monday, 94. Then the pattern may change a bit as we welcome in some tropical moisture. We'll have to watch that Wednesday as we head into Thursday, and we may even see a bit of relief from the temperatures as well.
Alrighty, make sure you stay hydrated. 10 minutes till 5 a.m. Giving you a live look. 290 the Northwest Freeway at Talgie. Hardly anybody on the road. We're expecting it to be quiet for most of the day, figuring that people may have it off today, or just enjoying their Friday. Not too bad.
Friday lights.
Yes.
We like to call it. So there used to be a time where people would get married, have kids, and then you would move to the suburbs. Apparently that's not the thing anymore. Now it's the millennials who don't want to be in the city. Instead, they want affordable housing out in the burbs.
Yeah, this is all according to a new report. People between the ages of 23 and 38 are headed to the suburbs to avoid the rising costs of city living. The Wall Street Journal suggests they also want to save because they're getting married and starting families. Millennials are apparently choosing areas with good weather and good jobs nearby.
I think they're just growing up.
Yeah.
It said 20, didn't it say like 23 or something?
But to 38?
Oh.
This is a constant battle
growing
between
up.
my husband and I because he wants to move to the suburbs and I'm like, no.
A city gal.
Yeah.
See, yeah, I would never move anywhere outside the loop. Or even if I have to travel to visit somewhere
Yeah,
outside the
smaller
loop,
space,
I will
but
not
you're
go.
right. Especially with our
Because you have everything so close by. Yeah.
I mean, we can. A shorter commute, I think, takes the cake. Anything else.
Yeah, especially when you look to her traffic report. Okay, it's 52 minutes after the hour. Why don't we all get some coffee and we'll meet back here in a couple of minutes.
champion of the world, Joey Chestnut!
I mean, don't you just wonder how he feels today? So Joey Chestnut,
wonder a lot of things with that.
he won the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest 12th consecutive year. 71 hot dogs in just a matter of minutes. And last year, he had set a record. He ate 74 hot dogs in 10 minutes. Miki Sudo won her 6th consecutive women's title, eating 31 hot dogs. And if that didn't gross you out, here's another try.
Here's another try. Looking ahead to 5 o'clock. Some folks like chocolate ice cream, others maybe like vanilla. What about steak flavored? Yep. We're going to take a look at the latest unique flavor that could soon be coming to shelves near you.
And now we're taking a look at just your quick cast here. We got Stephen Morgan here to break down your forecast for your hopefully long weekend and also into next week as well. Looks like we've got muggy and hot. Welcome to your summer in Houston.